Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video, we are looking at Micron Technology. It is time for another update, and we see a pretty steep retracement here. Now, if you've been watching this channel, if you have been following our updates on Micron, I'm certain this comes at no surprise to you, because not only have we followed through within the ideal structure of building here a wave 5 in orange, but we have also done so within pretty much flawless structure, right? We have been looking to build an ABC pattern here. We did provide an area of support where we can notice that the wave B had fulfilled the minimum expectations. And when we had this bottom already in place, we even provided the ideal target for the wave C. This was long before we had actually topped in this structure. It was the 100% extension of the wave A. Well, we pushed into that region and we formed a pretty strong reversal, it seems, right? Now, we don't do predictions here. We didn't predict this, but it was a level we were watching. It was a level we knew could mark a more substantial top. And even though we did identify a potential full count in this structure, which was a pretty strong highlight that this wave didn't need any further extensions, we provided even support levels to identify further signals, further indication that a top would be in place, right? We provided, once we had this level, this high in, we provided this support zone down to $436, where we knew that a sustained break below this level would signal that this wave to the upside would be complete, even if not within the wave 5 in orange fully, at least within a larger wave A, and that we could expect a correction as deep as $379.6. But even then, this idea of an extension in a wave C was completely unnecessary, right? And this is why I always encourage you to subscribe to be on top of these levels, because we do provide timely updates on several stocks. Whenever we see a great opportunity, we provide that. Whenever we identify high risk, we provide an update there as well. And yeah, we did highlight in the previous video that it is very easily achievable for this wave 3 in blue to have a top in place, to look for the larger wave 4 correction, where the area of support really only starts at $330, right? We did even highlight that below $379.6, it would be quite likely that we would be extending directly into this region. And not to foreshadow this, I will provide directly a spoiler alert. We are looking to still extend into this area of support, and we are still looking afterwards to extend to much higher prices in a follow-up wave 5. Now, for context, for everyone to be on the same page of why we are looking at this to be such a nice opportunity. Well, it's not because this wave alone has been the strongest movement to the upside so far. This is nice. It can allow something like the yellow structure to be developing in this overall pattern, which would imply a pretty direct wave 3 to the upside. Yeah, we have here a larger 1-2 setup, and this would be a wave 3. But even if the yellow structure fails, even if we do not manage to hold afterwards internal levels of support for a follow-up wave 4, yeah, once this wave 3 is complete, we would still be looking to actually at least build this wave to the upside within the white interpretation, which could assume a top to be in once it actually has that next leg up. So, in yellow, we are tracking basically a series of 1-2 setups, yeah, something like this, where this would be a wave 3, and then we would be looking for a series of 4-5 patterns, right? Within the white interpretation, we are looking instead at a leading diagonal, right, in a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And within this structure as well, we are looking to build a 5-wave pattern in this area, because we would be tracking an A, B, C movement. And what do we know about the wave C? Yes, correct, we are looking for a 5-wave pattern. So in both this wave 3 in yellow and this wave C in white, we are looking to follow through within this blue expectation of a 5-wave structure, where we are still looking to form a wave 4 and a wave 5 before looking for a more substantial top to be in place. Yeah, so both interpretations that are containing this development are looking to follow through within this scenario. We have confluence between the larger structure, which provides us an edge when looking for an opportunity on this chart. Now, of course, no setup, no opportunity is ever guaranteed. And if we break below the 50% retracement at $221, we should be prepared for a more substantial top to already be in place. Yeah, possibly for a complete failure of this entire movement to the upside, where a wave 1 top might be in place within a slightly different count than what we are tracking here in the blue structure, but I do not consider that to be ideal. I do not consider that to be the likely outcome, and I believe the market sentiment agrees. Yeah, we have formed a pretty nice impulse in this structure so far, and we are looking to form a wave 4 currently. Now, at this point, I would have pretty strong doubts of any direct extensions to be forming in this structure. I could see this to have been a 1, 2, 3, but I would prefer probably for the larger wave 3 top to be in. Now, sure, if we are to track an internal wave 3, the area of support would need to be shifted slightly higher, up to $336, but I do not believe that should be our focus at the moment. I believe this is the right support zone to track, and I am regarding this as an accumulation area, right? The levels between $330 down to $221 are very interesting to me. And in this wave 4, I'm typically looking to build a 3-wave correction. Now, of course, a triangle could also form, but I wouldn't track that as my main interpretation, right? Until we get stronger evidence, we get some trend lines we can even draw here, we will focus on the idea of a 3-wave correction. So, internally in this structure, I wouldn't be looking for any bottom to be forming in this movement to the downside yet. There is no signal of a bottom forming. We had just broken below our previous swing low, the beginning of this entire wave to the upside. And in the previous video, we were tracking some ideas of how an internal correction within what we had here in yellow could be forming. It seems the market sentiment has evolved into something considerably more bearish in this wave to the downside. Yeah, we have been looking for something along the lines of a leading diagonal in this structure. Well, I can tell you it can definitely still work out. I would probably track it slightly differently, but right now I would probably even go as far as to track as the idea of an impulse that could be taking us to much lower prices in a pretty direct fashion. Nonetheless, we didn't break any relevant levels of resistance we were tracking. We in fact did push into the ideal target for the wave 4 we were tracking this structure, but as I was saying, the market sentiment shifted. It's not that this has always been the plan for the market sentiment, but this is how it developed, right? And currently, as I was saying, having such a difficult pattern in place is really forcing me to track even the most bearish scenario possible, because until I actually break some relevant levels of resistance, nothing is preventing me from really tracking a series of 1-2 setups in this entire movement to the downside, right? I could just go on, and sure, this could be a wave 2, and this could have been a wave 3, and actually even here internally we have a 1-2 setup, and this could have been our wave 4. Certainly, we are looking at the most substantial reaction to the upside since this movement has actually started, and this is a first good sign that the momentum may be slowing down, but I would still need further evidence. What I would currently do is track a potential impulse in this structure. I do not have any evidence of something else going on. Even if I want to check the RSI, we actually still see the momentum having increased most recently. But yeah, I would focus on the idea of a potential impulse. I would look for breaks of the resistance levels that could indicate something less bearish to be going on. Implicitly more bullish, but not necessarily bullish, just less bearish. And I would be waiting for a more clear structure, right? There is no good indication for me that a bottom would be forming within this area. So I would track something along the lines of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And within this interpretation, we can actually track it in white, let's say. We do not want to use exactly the same color as we have in the overall downtrend, as within this pattern, we could be looking for some optimizations, for some slightly different outcomes, while still fulfilling the overall expectations for a wave 4 in blue. Now, for this idea of an impulse, I could allow the 50% retracement to be reached within this wave 4. This has already been achieved. If we are to extend in this idea, I would expect another low, without forming any additional highs in this structure. Now, could this also develop within another 1-2 setup? Well, it could, but I wouldn't find it too likely. I wouldn't prefer it. And to be honest, in the end, I'm not convinced either that this idea of a series of 1-2 setups will work out in this structure. I find it more likely to be building here something like a diagonal structure, right? It is possible to build an impulse once again, but the amount of 1-2 setups we simply have in this area makes it that much less likely to me. It's a bit unrealistic. It would imply probably something like 7 or 8 4-5 structures before we can even look for a bottom within this as a wave A. Not impossible, but unlikely. However, we will require evidence, and until we get that, which currently is a break above the previous swing high in this wave 4, we will continue to focus on this interpretation. Now, having such a difficult pattern actually allows me to come up with an infinite number of counts basically, but the main level I would focus on for a signal that a more substantial bottom would be in place within this overall wave would be here for the idea of a wave 3 being already in place, the 61.8% retracement, and if somehow we really do happen to break the current internal levels of resistance, we could be looking at this for a signal that a more substantial bottom would be in place, right? We would like to see a break above $414 for that signal. I find it doubtful that we will get there. Now, this is not a prediction. We do not do predictions here. But if we do get that break, yes, I would consider this to have been something like a wave A complete. I would be looking for a wave B and a wave C to be taking us still to lower prices. That would not change my overall expectations for this chart. I consider it critical at this point to zoom out because the smaller time frame is highly unpredictable, it is highly volatile, and really prepare for the larger structure to unfold, Come up with a plan, prepare how to position within this structure, maybe identify some levels you would consider to buy in this support zone, but certainly it is not the time to look for a position in this structure, in this latest development, as it remains highly volatile, as it remains highly unpredictable. And it's not even that this is strongly suggesting that anything can happen, it is rather suggesting that nothing bullish seems to be going on, right? Nothing that wouldn't favor direct continuation to lower prices, which is why, once again, we are looking at the larger time frame. But for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoy our content and want to support us directly, check out our channel membership and let me know what else you would like to watch, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.